Up until a few years ago, I was caught in a trap that so many business owners can find themselves in, selling way too many different products. We're talking hundreds of products. Every single webinar training we'd ever done, every single course, we sold the recordings of all of those individually. And on top of these hundreds of resources, we would also host new masterclasses every month and put them in our store, and at least 2 to 4 live courses a year. And we have a mastermind, and we would do multiple launches a year, then throw in a couple of retreats. It was just way too much. But the saying is the more the merrier, right? Surely having hundreds of products showed our customers just how knowledgeable we were and how much we had to offer, right? We were very, very wrong. And in this episode, you'll hear the story of why I decided to cut back from hundreds of products that we were making available and services to just 5. And we'll get into why having more products could be setting you up for more problems down the line. Let's jump in. Hey there, Susie here. Welcome to another episode of the Her Business Podcast. I'm the CEO at Her Business, and today we are talking about your products and services. Maybe you have too many, maybe you don't have enough, and maybe you've just really never sat down to look at how those products and services actually contribute to your bigger money goals. Today we're going to be getting into why simplicity is key when it comes to your product range. And if you are an e-commerce store owner, I don't want you to think this episode isn't applicable to you, because it really, really is. So whether you sell products, whether you have an e-commerce store, whether you have services, you're going to find this really, really useful. So I want to tell you a little about what was happening a few years ago at Her Business. We were offering every webinar, every training under the sun, which we thought was great. The more we could offer people, the better, the more profitable we would be. But then we realized that we were just constantly promoting something. We were running ourselves ragged because our attention was spread across so many different things that we wanted to sell. It didn't allow us time to focus so much on the delivery for our wonderful clients. There was no time to perfect our campaigns and make them better. There was no time to improve the services that we offered, because we were on this hamster wheel of promote this, promote that, promote something, produce something else, promote that, produce the next thing. And here's the kicker. The vast majority of the services and products we were selling actually added very little to our bottom line. So we knew something had to change. And before I get into what we did, and in turn what you can do to simplify your offers, I'd like to talk about 3 main areas that keeping a tight product range can really benefit you. And it's going to be a little surprise that these 3 areas are crucial to your business. They're your customers, your team and the systems by which your team operates, and you. So first, when you have a clear process and a clear organization to your products and services, your customers will be able to understand and easily understand the value you bring. So say you're a course provider or a coach, having 101 different video courses or paid masterclasses might seem like a good idea, but your customer will likely not know where to start. So when you're crystal clear on what you offer, your clients will know exactly who you are, what you stand for, and what you can help them with. Now, if you're an e-commerce or product provider, this applies to you as well. When I go online and say I'm looking for a piece of jewelry, am I going to scroll through every single dress, shoes, tops, pants, accessories, hoping that jewelry is going to pop out? No, of course not. You organize what you sell into different categories. You filter out what you don't want. So that's how you might do it in an e-commerce situation. Say you sell stationery equipment. I'm not trying to convince you that you should only sell 5 pens on your website and that's it. Simplifying for you would mean putting these products into buckets. So you might have a stationery that is planners, and all your planners are together, and you sell journals, you have all your pens together. And I don't mean just categorized on your website. I mean making it really clear what is the main thing you want people to buy. Now, if you're a service provider, this is even more important, because you'd want it to be clear. People may be coming because they've heard about you, but how do you make it clear what you want them to buy first when you have a ton of different options of things you do? Now, the second thing, on top of your customers being less confused about all the things you sell, having a small product range means that your internal operations will get 100 times easier. So fewer products mean you can allocate your resources, that's your time, your money, your energy, your team, where you really need them. And those resources won't be spread out and exhausted because you're doing everything all the time. They can be well placed at particular times of year, making those products and services all the better. Now, this applies even if you don't have a team. If you're a solopreneur, you want to be listening up here, because if you're trying to sell too many things, likely you are just burning yourself out. Now, let me peel the curtain back again for her business. We have a small team, which I love. I've been there, done that when it comes to having a big company, and I intentionally keep the team behind her business fairly small. Now, each person has their specialty, their jobs. They know what they're in charge of. If we were running promotions for dozens of products 24/7, we simply wouldn't be able to do that effectively because the workload would be too big and the quality of what we'd be delivering would go down. And I know from experience, we wouldn't necessarily be making any more money or any greater a profit. So having a few select services, all interconnected, and I'll talk more about that, launching and being promoted at a specific times of year, which I'll talk more about as well, means the team doesn't get overwhelmed. Our resources are balanced between products and the promotions of those products. Nothing falls off the radar because there's a structure to follow. It's simple, it's organized, and it makes more money. The third place, as I mentioned earlier, is you. Now, I've seen it time and again, businesses with dozens of products slowly lose their brand identity, and in the process, the business owner starts to lose sight of what they really want. When you can get back to the basics of why you're providing the services you provide and why, in a way that you can provide them exceptionally, you are coming back to yourself, your core offer, whatever it is that you want to really be selling, what you want to be known for, what you want to be the go-to person for. In some case, this is coming back to why you started your business in the first place. When you do this, you get clarity on your business model. You have a firm grasp on everything going on. You're able to take the time and care you want to with each of these products and services ending up in your client's hands, because you're not trying to sell everything. Ultimately, you have to be confident and in love with the things that you offer in order to feel good about those things going out the door and helping someone else. And you can only go deeper on making each of those things exceptional if there are fewer of them. You don't have to keep tabs on all these different things. You can just go deep dive on what matters most. And what matters most is what is going to be most profitable and enjoyable for you, and what is going to create the most transformation in your customers. Now, I want to introduce you to a company that does this very well. You might have heard of them, Apple. Now, Apple hasn't always had a very curated and structured product range. When Steve Jobs left Apple many, many years ago, he left the company, and the company, in the time he was away, bloated. They had so many products and services. And one of the first things he did when he returned to Apple was he killed 70% of the products that they had in their range. He reduced the range at that time down to 4 products: desktop and portable computers for consumers and professionals. Right? Because they had bloated. And if you're anything like most small businesses, maybe your product and service range has also bloated and needs that culling. So now Apple, of course, is one of the biggest companies in the world, and at times has been the biggest company in the world, and they've expanded their range again, but they don't have hundreds of different products. They have a few things they do very, very well. Do they have the capacity and the funds to have a broader product range? Sure, but they've figured out what works. Their core products remain the same: the iPhone, the iPad, the Mac computer, AirPods, the Apple Watch. I know they've just recently in the last year released the virtual reality product as well, but they're not releasing 200 things every year. They have these core products and they're known for being the best of the best in those categories. And they spend the majority of their resources not exploring every new product they could produce or every avenue that presents itself to them. They stick with what they're good at and perfect at. If it's good enough for Apple, it's good enough for me. But when they do this, they're able to put out better and better versions of those products. And we can do the same. They know the power of a loyal customer. When someone first buys an iPhone, down the road, they'll probably buy AirPods. Then they realize they can easily connect their phone with their Mac, so they're purchasing the next thing, then the next thing. They grow loyal and they become part of this Apple ecosystem, like I have been and my partner PJ has been, and we've been an Apple business for 30 years. They figured out their few core offerings, and that's what I'm inviting you to do as well. Offerings that are interrelated, that make sense together. And this is what I want you to think about as you think about what you offer. So you know the power of having a strong core product range. We've talked about that. But what we haven't talked about is the ability that this gives you to perfect the timing of when you sell your different products and services. When you have a smaller product range, you have better control of the pacing and the cadence of your launches and promotions, and you get to do them really, really well. You have what we call a healthy marketing runway. Now, the marketing runway is a term by Stu McLaren, my friend and mentor, and the author of a new book called Predictable Profits. And he describes the marketing runway as the strategic period leading up to a launch where you build awareness, engagement, and anticipation for your offer. And he emphasizes that this phase is crucial for warming up your audience before you actually open cart to start to sell what you want to sell. The marketing runway is that period before the launch of your product, and it matters so much. This is when you are designing your landing pages, you're hinting about your offer, you're writing your promotional emails, you're building in the automation, you're setting up your strategic alliances, and you're crafting the perfect messaging. You might even be surveying your clients. And so allowing yourself time to do these things without always being, buy my thing is so important, because when your energy gets split and your calendar becomes overstuffed, you just don't have time to develop a solid and repeatable promotional cycle for each product or service. When we work with our members and we're working on our annual plan, we look at, what are our strategic objectives for the year and how many promotions can I do to get that strategic objective? And the strategic objectives are there to get them their annual revenue goal. It's the same inside of our Marketing Success Mastermind. In November, we set our sights on what we want to achieve in the next year. We get really, really clear on what products and services we're going to be selling and when are we going to be doing the big promotions. And we put them on our calendar, allowing ourselves a lot of a runway between them. Because when you're juggling too many offers, you don't get that pre-launch time to do it really, really well. But when you have your core products and services, you can't go past getting it to work. And what I mean by that is you can determine, I'm asking you to strip right back. Look at your core products and services. How do they work together? How do I get people to start with one thing and buy the other thing? You can only do that if you have space and time and just a few core offers. It's hard to do it when you are just throwing everything at the wall and seeing what sticks. And so this is exactly what we ended up doing at Her Business. Before, we had all these different products, as I mentioned, right? We didn't have time to structure the launches when we wanted, so it felt like every month we were trying to promote something. So we did a big audit on our offerings. We looked at the sales. We looked at historically, how many are we selling? How much do they contribute to the bottom line? What are our big goals? What are our money goals? How much energy and time does it take to produce each one of these products and services and to take them to market? And we came to realize that there was this huge cumulative drain on my attention, on my team's time, and all the resources we were putting towards all these various services. One of the biggest drains was on brain space, right? Because we were trying to think about so many things at the same time. So we redesigned our business to have products and services that fed into each other, like nothing extraneous. And we recognized that our core services would be the Her Business community, and that is the Her Business network. Usually that is the first thing people buy. And from there, you get access to so many other things. But it was a profitable, lovely, beautiful, very valuable commodity in itself. Excuse me. And then we knew that once people got to know, like, and trust us and get all the value that women get from being part of the Her Business network, then we could have high-level programs to offer that community for people who wanted to progress or work more closely with me. So if they wanted to level up their marketing, the next step is to go into our Marketing Success Mastermind, which I co-host with marketing expert Michelle Falzon. If they wanted something out of the box, intensive and focused not only on developing their businesses but themselves, they can come to one of our retreats. Or they can join our Business Trailblazers hikes, where we take women to different parts of the world on a business hike, but it's especially for women business owners. And if they were focused on really high-touch growth strategies and personalised mentoring, then the option would be for them to get that support through our highest level program, which is the Boardroom, which is for our 7-figure entrepreneurs. So we had something for everybody, but everything was interrelated and people could progress from one to the other as their income grew, as their size of their businesses grew, as their needs grew, they could naturally flow on to one of the other offers that we have. And we deliberately, as I said, reduced our product range, not only because it makes sense financially, but because it allows us to create a clear, profitable product matrix. When I look at our revenue, I can see what's profitable. I can see which products and services service best. Does most of our revenue come from our membership? No. But that core offer, because it's very inexpensive, it's just $197 a month. And we keep it relatively small because we work very deeply with these business owners. But that core offer leads into these other amazing, value-filmed, more expensive programs that are just for the right people for whom they're going to get the most benefit out of working at that level. Now, does that restructuring give us space and time to do things well? Absolutely. We segmented the products we present to the outside world from those included in the membership. So there's the products and services that we're selling, and then there's what we're delivering. And we're allowing ourselves time and space to do both well. And we set up our calendar to deliver our products and services, to have promotional periods for each of them throughout the year. Now, some of those promotions are public, like when we are promoting our Her Business Network, which is currently closed. But when we're promoting the network, we are going out to the public and we're bringing people in. But a lot of our promotions happen behind closed doors because they're not for everyone. They're best for people who already know, like, and trust us. And perhaps you have that kind of product range too. You have things that are the first thing someone can buy to come into your world, and other things that are better for existing clients. What's happened is our messaging has become sharper. Our landing pages are clearer. Our deliverables all sharper. So not only are we less overwhelmed internally as a business, but our market isn't overwhelmed by a mass list of offerings. Now, your energy is better spent doing fewer things really, really well rather than being mediocre at so many things. And I want to just give you that distinction again. What is the first thing you want people to buy when they come into your world? Are the rest of your products and services really best left behind the curtain to offer those people because it's much easier? They already know you, rather than trying to go to the public with everything. That was a real big difference for us. And so many businesses have lived this story of having too much of a product range. And I want to see more of those businesses really take stock and come back to their core offering. When you get really clear on what you're offering, why you're offering that product or service, and how one product can lead to another, you'll begin to see things falling in place. There's one more aspect that we haven't talked about, and that is, while having a streamlined range is great for making money and great for having smoother operations, it also lets you build a business and a life that is right for you. It lets you create a business model that aligns with who you are and how you work best. And if you're like me and most of the women I come in contact with, you don't want to be doing more work. You want to do less, obsess with what you're doing, and get really great returns. And so while for business, success, yes, it's defined by dollars, it's also defined by how much spare time do you have? What impact are you making? How fulfilled are you? What do your days look like? And the older I get, the more important those factors are. The dollars are great, but here's what I found. Doing less, tightening the product range has made us more profitable. But allowing yourself a business that's simple but profitable means that you have the freedom to have a vacation. That's what success is. Success is defined by having time with your loved ones. And the more work I do with women business owners, the more I realize that we feel truly successful when we feel like we are winning. And it's impossible to feel like you're winning when you're constantly stressed, constantly working late at night, constantly feeling like your products and services are all over the shop. It's a really difficult business model to feel like you have control over when you have this never-ending list of things that you could be selling. But when you have a streamlined approach, you're not just making it easier to make more money and create better profits and upsell easier and have operations run better. You're ensuring your business plays to your strengths, your focus, and gives you what you care most about. And narrowing your focus to the right products or services, it also limits distractions and it stops you from using energy on things that drain you when you're doing too much. So instead of spreading yourself thin, you're gaining confidence, clarity, momentum. You're giving your clients the best products and services that you can provide. You're showing up with energy, and overall you're creating a deeper impact. And for me, this business model that we have now, both promotes financial freedom, growth, personal satisfaction, not just for us, but also for our customers. That's what we are wanting to give our members of Her Business: financial freedom, growth, and personal satisfaction. And this helps you build not just a business, but a way of working that's sustainable and rewarding. And at its core, it's about creating a business and life you love while having the impact and income to do your best work. So how do you actually go about making these changes? How do you condense your product offerings? How do you decide what to keep, what to cut? This can be really tough because, let's be honest, we can get attached to our products and services. They become something we're proud of. They're kind of our babies. So here's what I suggest. Because it's like, well, I know that's a really good product and service, but if nobody's buying it, if you don't have time to promote it, then it's not serving anyone. So look at what fits together. Ask yourself if someone entering your world with one product or service can naturally be upsold or progress to the next product or service, and design a clear path for them. What is your core offer first? Then what do you want your ideal customer to do next? Like I said, for Her Business, our core offer remains the Her Business Network, where women come looking for support, training, mentoring, and to be part of an incredible community of other business owners who get what it's like to grow and scale a business. Now, once they're inside of the network, they have different options depending on where they need help, whether it's marketing or mindset support or personal development or mentorship. So to define what this looks like for your business, I recommend starting by listing out all your products and services, looking at their historical revenue contributions to your business, and then asking 3 questions. Number 1, what do I most enjoy delivering? Number 2, which are the easiest products and services for my team and me to work on? And number 3, which products and services can be leveraged for even better results if I was to give it just a little more attention? Remember, clarity matters. For service-based businesses, streamline your offerings. We are down, as I said, to about 5 main products in our world, which gives us time to make those 5 the best that they can be. And like I said, they all connect together. There's a clear flow, a clear entry point, a clear progression that the client is able to follow. And of course, you want to look at your high ticket earners and analyze your numbers. For you might think, you know what, I just need one higher priced offer and I can get rid of all these cheap things that I do. And for some of you, there's money sitting on the table. People are willing to pay you more, but you are not charging the money for it. And so if you could increase your revenue without increasing your product range, wouldn't that be great? Imagine shrinking your product range and earning more money, right? Then we get talking about things like offers and pricing and all those things that we can help you with inside of Her Business. If you would like an opportunity to do this product and service audit and to look at your profitable products matrix, then I'm hosting a workshop. It's on the 12th of February, and we'll walk you through exactly what you need to analyze each of the products so that you can create this clear flow, the clear progression in your product and service mix. So the workshop is called the Profitable Business Workshop for Women Business Owners, and it's something I put on a few times a year to help you get to the heart of your business model and what you offer, and how you can build repeatable, money-making and genuine products and services that are true to what you actually want to do in your business. And as I said, it's going to be on Wednesday, the 12th of February, and it's running from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. Sydney time. Now, you can grab your free ticket at profitablebusinessworkshop.com, and it comes with a special workbook that you'll use during the workshop to map out your profitable product matrix. Okay, it's the profitable product mix that is right for you. We map that out, and we look at the pricing, and we look at how many you need to sell and when you need to sell them and all those fun things. And we've had women call this workshop mind-blowing and exactly what I needed. And if you're listening to this episode and 12th of February has been and gone, don't worry, you haven't missed out. As I said, we do these a couple of times a year, so you can just send us a quick email to see when the next workshop will be. And if you're a Her Business Network member, or a networker, as we call our lovely women inside of the network, you have that training available to you at all hours of day inside the Her Business Hub library. So just get in touch with the team if you have any trouble finding it. If you want to join us on the 12th of February, you're going to find all the information you need in this episode's show notes, along with a summary of what we covered today. And you'll find those show notes at herbusiness.com/294. Now, we have so many resources just like this inside of the Her Business Network. So if you want to be part of a community of women who are growing their businesses and developing lives that they love, then you can join the waitlist to join the Her Business Network the next time we open. And the details for that are herbusinessnetwork.com. We're not currently open, but getting on the waitlist means that you'll be the first to know when we open up spots. And inside the network, we have so many powerful resources for women business owners, including live business strategy sessions, networking events, masterclasses, even retreats that bring Her Business Networkers together from around the globe. So our show notes, details again, you can find at herbusiness.com/294. There'll be a summary of what we've covered today and a link to the different resources that we've talked about. Now, I love doing this show for you. And here's what I love even more. I love it when I know that you have listened. And so one person who got in touch with me recently is Sonia, and I'm going to botch this name up. I'm sorry, Sonia. It's Pototsky Raymond. Sonia Pototsky Raymond. She's known as the Search Queen. She listened to episode 284, which was the 5 CEO secrets that will grow your business and give your time back. If you are a business owner who's growing your team, you want to check out episode 284. So what I'll do is I'll put a link to it in the show notes. And so Sonia said, such an important conversation around redefining success and striving for balance. Thank you, Sonia. I appreciate you listening, and I appreciate you leaving a review of that episode. And as I said, I'll put a link to that episode on our show notes page at herbusiness.com/294. Now, if you enjoyed this episode, if you are taking anything away, 2 things. 1, you can shoot me a message at podcast@herbusiness.com. I answer every message, or you can DM me over on Instagram. You'll find our account at herbusiness. Or you could do me a really huge favor and head on over to Apple Podcast and leave us a rating or review. And the reason that's so important to shows like ours is that that is how we can help more and more women. And we are on a mission to help as many women as possible to grow their business. So if you're new to the show and this is your first episode, thank you so much for being here. Be sure to hit the follow or subscribe button to get next week's episode. We've got some great topics coming up. If you're a regular listener, I love you. Thank you so much. If you haven't left us a rating or review, we'd appreciate you doing that. Join us in the next episode for more inspiring stories and lessons from successful female entrepreneurs, and I'll see you then. Thank you so much for joining me right here on the Her Business Podcast. Bye for now.